What if I told you that the so-called Queen of Loyalty, a Grammy-nominated celebrity, and a famed female rapper had just had her name included in an FBI murder investigation for a larger plot? But what if I told you that the purported target was actually Claressa Shields, the unbeaten boxing champion who just stole the limelight and Remy Ma's tranquilly? Since that's precisely what is currently blazing the internet. Remy Ma is being blamed by a leaked federal document, unnamed sources, and rumors coming from within the courthouse walls. The charges were startling, unreal, and in some ways, terrifyingly plausible. Was there a real attempt by Remy Ma to find someone to manage Claressa? Is someone out there framing her and turning a scandal into a takedown? Or was this just a petty feud gone too far? This story has it all, including covert phone conversations, currency transactions, and a name that purportedly appeared on a private wiretap. The one question that nobody ever imagined we would ask aloud is now being asked by fans. Does Remy Ma have the capacity to do this? Let's examine everything from the first hint till the FBI's arrival. How did we get here, then? From rap ciphers and red carpets to federal officials whispering her name in a possible murder case for further inquiry, how did a Grammy-nominated rapper get there? The solution: treachery, envy, and a brawl that leaving behind more than just bruises. Because a tempest was brewing behind the Instagram filters and boxing gloves. Remy Ma and Claressa Shields were engaged in a quiet conflict that most people were unaware of until it might have almost been fatal. We all know that Remy Ma's past isn't quite spotless. This woman was the one who served for shooting her own buddy for a few $1,000s. She received 6 years in prison. This is not a work of fiction. It's documented. People didn't merely raise their eyebrows when rumors began to circulate that Remy was upset over Claressa Shields becoming closer to Papoose, slamming doors, and swearing in the studio. What if she snaps again? Was whispered at the beginning. After a few fan theories and tweets, the warning signs appeared. Claressa was unfollowed on Instagram by Remy. She removed all the pictures that had the word Shields on them. She even missed a significant occasion in New York City where, even though Claressa had RSVP'd weeks in advance, she was the honored guest. Perhaps a coincidence. Then the phone rang. A witness came forward early this year, claiming to have overheard a phone conversation in which Remy Ma allegedly discussed finding someone to deal with a problem, according to a leaked memo from a private FBI source in Detroit. Detroit is the birthplace of Claressa Shields. Pause now, because the feds didn't believe this to be just chatter. They launched a preliminary investigation after flagging the tip and recording the report. Why? Because that was more than just trash talk. This had to do with money, motive, and goal. Additionally, this witness asserted that Remy mentioned a dollar amount, according the same source. Not manage it, not vague. I'll put 20 on it. Just get it done. She allegedly responded, referring to the $20,000 needed to complete the task. No code word, no explanation. Now, let's go back in time. What was the source of all this tension? Unbelievably, it all began during a birthday celebration at the end of last year. A close friend of Remy and Papoose invited Claressa Shields to an exclusive celebrity-filled party in Miami. Attendees reported that Papoose and Claressa arrived together. Despite not being in the same vehicle, they were spotted together, conversing, laughing, and even wearing identical attire. Is it a coincidence? According to sources, Remy Ma arrived late and her face altered immediately upon seeing them. Tight-lipped, silent, and cold. One of the guests described it without saying a word. She simply glanced before leaving. The hashtag Papoose party went viral in a matter of hours. However, it was the vibes rather than the DJ or the fashion that got everyone talking. In footage captured by fans, Claressa and Papoose were seen having what some called chemistry. Do you understand? Too much eye contact, too many smiles. Additionally, Remy is already dealing with public humiliation, rumors regarding her marriage, and her previous infidelity. This was another instance of humiliation. After that night, according to many close to her team, she began to spiral. shedding tears at meetings, declining interviews, and threatening to quit New York completely. According to one insider, she thought everyone was making fun of her. "They believe she stole my man," she stated, "and my respect." The following weeks were grim. Remy disappeared from social media, postponed 2 live appearances, and reappeared only to send one menacing tweet. There is no turning back after someone has crossed the queue. What if it wasn't about Papoose? Fans assumed it was. What if Claressa was involved? 2 months later, a guy is arrested on unrelated charges in New York, New Jersey. When being questioned, he unexpectedly tells authorities that he was previously contacted about doing a task by someone in the sector. He responds, "I don't do hits." When asked what kind of work he does, that individual, a well-known colleague of numerous people in Remy's former circle, answered, "No, but she was serious." Is it a coincidence? Perhaps. However, his description of the woman matched Remy Ma, according to a police report that was eventually sent to federal investigators. This is where things start to get hazardous. Because they didn't play games after the feds were involved. They extracted Remy Ma's phone usage and travel logs. Her financial movements were examined, and the results raised questions. After that birthday celebration, Remy took out $9,750 in cash within 72 hours. 2 days later, there were 2 more cash pulls totaling $8,200. No paper trail, no explanation. A total of almost $18,000. Only a few $1,000s less than the 20 she supposedly mentioned over the phone. Is that evidence? No. It's suspicious, though a very. Not to mention that Ray is a prime candidate for criticism because to her past. She has already been found guilty of a felony. She completed it in real time. She is familiar with the streets. Therefore, the FBI got a second report about Remy apparently trying to suppress someone who was talking too much from a separate source. Alarms began to sound. According to this source, Remy feared that Claressa would reveal her marital issues and publicly humiliate her once more. The most terrifying thing comes next. Remy was heard stating, "She's not going to ruin me. I'll end this before she does." According to the same source, investigators are interested in knowing whether that means end literally or symbolically. We're not discussing rumors regarding the Shade Room anymore. We're discussing a possible federal case that is being driven by odd money trails, anonymous tips, and Remy's own turbulent past. As if things couldn't get any more intense, there was yet another leak. A voice purportedly stolen note from a former Remy associate's phone. Someone who flipped for a bargain and was later captured in a weapon sting. "I don't need her talking. Handle it. I'm done playing nice." 3 brief lines, no names, no locations, are heard in the clip from a lady who is thought to be Remy. The feds, however, took it extremely seriously because Claressa Shields requested a temporary security order to increase her personal protection at public events at the same time the voice note was captured. Is it a coincidence? Maybe again. However, how many coincidences must occur before it ceases to sound like ill-timed events and begins to resemble a blueprint? Also, if you believe that test, there's more, all. Because a reporter from a lesser-known Detroit media claimed to have seen a copy of a redacted federal report with Remy Ma's name listed in the Persons of Interest section, not as a witness, but as a potential initiator, just as Remy's attorneys were attempting to kill the story behind the scenes. And that's when the internet and the streets went crazy. Everything changed at that point. Because the internet didn't just catch fire, it went nuclear when that redacted government report, the one that purportedly listed Remy Ma within the Persons of Interest category, surfaced. In a matter of hours, all of the major gossip sites, underground blogs, and Twitter detectives were involved. Punches were slower than screenshots. TikToks appeared that analyzed Remy's body language from previous interviews. Reddit posts started making connections between seemingly unrelated but unavoidably real dots. CNN became involved as well. It was because a genius altered a phony CNN chair that read, not because they covered it, breaking Remy Ma is being investigated for a suspected murderous conspiracy. People began tagging Anderson Cooper and requesting a statement since it appeared so genuine. Let's now discuss the report. Insiders claim that the extensively redacted internal letter was a component of a larger inquiry into criminal conduct related to celebrities that was sparked by a series of irrelevant phone calls. Here's the worst part, though. One of the wiretap recordings purportedly showed a woman named RM saying, "It's better if she's gone. That's all I'm saying." That one line triggered a federal alert because, in addition to being mentioned in numerous calls, RM was constantly related to discussions about conflicts, payoffs, and managing someone. Look, naturally, Remy Ma's team came out strong. These allegations are totally untrue, defamatory, and part of a targeted smear campaign, her representative told TMZ. Remy Ma is concentrating on her music, her family, and her lawful business ventures, but the internet didn't care. They recall the party, the quote, the time, and the look Remy gave Claressa. It wasn't proof of denial, it was credible. Then, as though the universe was crafting this story for us, an unnamed former bodyguard who briefly worked for Remy came out and claimed she got people in an exclusive interview with a small but quickly popular podcast. I won't go into much detail, but you'll know if Remy doesn't like you. Additionally, if she truly dislikes you, someone else will advise you to leave before it becomes dark. Once more, there wasn't concrete proof, but it was supporting a very risky narrative. Then Claressa Shields spoke up, posting a black screen to her Instagram story with a single line instead of tweeting or venting. Millions of people viewed the screenshot, which included every page from the Shadem to Baylor alert. Celebrities began to comment, and 10 minutes later, Cardi B removed the perplexed face emoji she had posted. This isn't a rap feud, this is real life. Some things ain't forgivable, even when they come from home, said Papoose in a since-deleted tweet, but Fat Joe, who has long been Ray's buddy and mentor, declined to respond when asked on his live stream. What? Immediately, they thought, wait, is he confirming something? Is Remy involved? Was the truth revealed to him? Papoose became popular across the country in less than half an hour. Did Papoose know what Remy was planning? Did he try to stop her? Or did he just find out like the rest of us? Was the question that everyone was now asking. The anonymous texts that followed only made matters worse. An unidentified source purportedly leaked a number of screenshots purportedly showing Remy Ma and a person with the name Huss. One of the messages is shown here. I mean it. She believes I've softened. They giggling. When it's finished, I'll give you the remainder. Don't talk. The timestamps, punctuation, and wording all match known points in the history, even though the number was hazy. Could it still be faked? However, a separate tech YouTuber performed metadata analysis of the photos and stated, these are real. I've seen thousands of doctor texts. These don't show the telltale signs. As a result, the case now included a number of anonymous sources, a dubious cache trail, a redacted FBI mention, leaked messages, a motive of jealousy and humiliation, and a possible timeline beginning with the Miami party. There was too much smoke to ignore the possibility of fire, even if it wasn't entirely certain. And never forget that Claressa Shields is a national treasure in women's athletics, a world champion, and a public character. She is not a mere incidental figure in Remy's life. She is a target, a symbol, and a menace to some. Let's now discuss the fans. For this was more than a scandal. This turned into a battlefield. Supporters of Remy Ma claimed that she was being persecuted, slandered, and set up because of her history. They accused Claressa of being a victim and attempting to use Ray's reputation to gain influence. 1 inch they always blame the Bronx chick when things go left. Remy paid her dues. Let her live. Another popular tweet read, Charlores is just mad because she got friend-zoned by Papoose. However, the Claressa camp wasn't about to back down. Supporters shared screenshots of old images, even breaking down Claressa's 3-week-old Instagram live, in which she supposedly stated, some people talk big but fold when you step in their lane. That's why they attempt to fight dirty. People were now asking, was that a warning? Did Claressa sense danger already? Then the final nail in the coffin was delivered. A blurry, echoey, but purportedly authentic voice call recording appeared on YouTube for about 18 minutes before being removed, in which a lady who sounded eerily similar to Remy Ma states, "If she ends up in the hospital, it's on her. I warned her, but she ignored me." The video had 90,000 views before it was removed, but the internet never dies. Mirrors were created, clips were republished, and supporters were suddenly afraid and not simply speculating. This was no longer about small-scale rivalries. By this point, FBI officials had yet to release an official statement, but legal analysts on the internet started warning, federal agents don't wait for a smoking gun if enough circumstantial evidence accumulates. And what's worse, it was about safety, violence, and cross-line intentions. The stakes are life-altering. Remy Ma is still on parole. One mistake, one charge, even an implied intent could violate her terms of release and send her back inside right away. And just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, a sealed court filing appeared online, confirmed by a public case number, revealing that a subpoena had been issued for a known acquaintance of Remy Ma. The accusation: cooperation and plot to destroy a famous figure. The words were more than just rumors now, they were ink. What happens next? Was this all a setup? Whether Remy Ma is guilty or not, one thing is certain, she is now a suspect in this story, not just a rapper. Was this the most shocking celebrity takedown in hip-hop history, orchestrated in the shadows, driven by emotion, and executed with a digital paper trail, or was she innocent and being set up by a jealous insider or a bitter rival? The ultimate blow was imminent. The tone of this story shifted abruptly when the court filing confirming a subpoena for someone supposedly connected to Remy Ma was dropped. It was no longer tabloid talk, but rather the beginnings of a federal lawsuit with names, dates, money trails, and a perilous story that Remy Ma, a woman who had once recovered her career after serving time in prison, was now under government scrutiny for allegedly attempting to discredit one of the biggest names in sports. To make matters worse, those close to her were beginning to disappear. One hairstylist who worked on her set frequently removed all of her posts and closed her Instagram account. Even a backup dancer who traveled with Remy last year shared and promptly removed this cryptic narrative. Ain't no loyalty in fear. I said what I said. Fans went into overdrive deciphering that one. A close buddy who had included Remy in her podcast abruptly became silent for days, and just when internet detectives were searching the internet for fresh information, another bombshell was dropped. Remy Ma's legal team disappeared, no interviews, no rebuttals, just a silent court filing asking for a temporary gag order on media coverage related to her name. Now tell me, that silence screamed louder than a press conference. Claressa Shields was moving with precision, and more security cancelled all meet and greets and publicly thanked her. If you're being falsely accused of plotting something that could land you in federal prison, why would you silence the story instead of clearing your name? Then, at a women's empowerment gathering in Detroit, Claressa took the microphone and stated, "Sometimes the most dangerous people aren't strangers." Fans were grateful for the support, but she didn't speak directly to Remy. When you won, they were the ones who applauded. Boom. Sharp, subtle, and quickly going viral, all the outlets picked up that one cue. One anchor added, "Everyone knows who she's talking about, but she's not naming names." Even Ray's own fan base was split by this time. Some began to withdraw their assistance. Others completely flipped, unearthing old fights and interviews. To contend, even Remy's arrest history from 2007. This is something she has always been able to do. A federal raid followed, which was the last straw. Yes, it took place in the background in silence. Reports confirmed that there were no TMZ cameras in the area. A Bronx flat connected to an unidentified man. Federal officials searched Remy Ma's associate. Things were taken away. A burner, 2 phones, and a laptop. No charges have been made yet. This is what was leaked from that search, though. A number of voice memos purportedly discussing cleaning the slate that were discovered in erased files, causing silence. The most damaging statement of all is that she has no idea what's going to happen. Hold it that way. Relaxing. Now take a moment to think. Remy Ma isn't if even one of those audio notes turns out to be authentic, and if even one of those cash withdrawals links to the man whose flat was seized and no longer merely accused. She's in a tight spot. Now, the entertainment industry was completely collapsing while the legal system was subtly intensifying behind the scenes. A Remy Ma feature portion was removed from BET's upcoming special, her segment in a documentary about women in hip-hop was cut out while it was being clarified, and a luxury brand she had recently signed with disappeared from her Instagram. The partnership ended. Even the artists who were close to her started to distance themselves. Respect to the legend, but I can't co-sign any energy that brings danger to our women. Ouch, said one collaborator on Twitter. It wasn't just business either, and the personal side was falling apart. After being largely silent the entire time, Papoose was now seen at gatherings without Remy and without his wedding band. The couple is taking space, according to those close to them, which, in the context of celebrities, typically means the marriage is on life support. Let's be clear now, although no official charges have been made, federal sources told an independent journalist that there is sufficient evidence to warrant a material witness summons and possibly more if fresh information comes to light. The clock is ticking, then. Who else just joined the chat, you ask? Joe Fat. We don't condone any type of violence, especially not against someone like Claressa, who's done nothing but uplift our culture. I'm praying this isn't true. He continued. I love Remy. She's my sister. Fat Joe is her mentor, her ride or die. This was a significant statement during a surprise Instagram live, and just when people thought it couldn't get much darker, the next twist came like a sucker punch. A purported jailhouse call appeared online, not from Remy, but from a man claiming to be the one who declined the job. If he's publicly distancing himself, that says it all. The call is unconfirmed, the voice is grainy, the source is anonymous, but the impact is immediate. He claims that she said she would pay more if I made it appear to be an accident, and that she didn't want her hands on it. I told her that I don't move like that, but yes, it was serious. Leads. They were now allegedly in contact with federal parole authorities, the Bronx DA's office, and Detroit police. Why parole? Because, according to federal law, if Remy Ma even tried to plan violence, even if she never paid or carried it out, that would be a violation of her parole, and that could mean one thing: she is sent back to prison. Her team is attempting to avoid that nightmare at all costs. No trial, no public circus, just one hearing, one ruling back in. According to insiders, Remy's attorneys are constructing a defense around character assassination, claiming that her public persona makes her a prime candidate for unfounded allegations. There also reportedly the problem is that, in the eyes of the public, she is already guilty. She has lost relationships, support, relevance, and most importantly, the benefit of the doubt. She is getting ready to contest the veracity of the voice recordings and messages, claiming that there is no concrete evidence that directly connects her to any plot. Will Claressa bring a civil lawsuit? Will federal prosecutors pursue charges? Will more voice memos emerge, or will someone else come up with the last nail in the coffin? Because this story is about power, not just one accusation. Now that you've heard it all, the jealousy, the leaked recordings, the cash trails, and the terrifying possibility that one of hip-hop's most iconic women might have attempted to permanently silence a rising star, here's the question no one has yet to answer: pride, and how quickly someone can fall when the internet smells blood. If Remy Ma is innocent, someone just pulled off one of the most destructive takedown attempts we've ever seen. If she is guilty, we've all just watched the darkest chapter of her legacy unfold in real time. But, whether she is being framed or exposed, this story changes everything. What do you think? Did Remy Ma truly cross a line she can't get back from, or was this just terrible timing and dubious coincidences? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. If this tale made you uneasy, please hit the like button because it's not yet done. Subscribe for the next exciting update. Because the man Claressa claims warned her first will be revealed in our upcoming film, along with his startling connections to both Papoose and Remy. You do not wish to overlook what follows. This isn't rumors, but a conflict, and we have now entered the next level.